pretty weird.
T3 Media.
Through the media.
So, just so everybody's clear, I would say that the original is definitely one of the biggest, most classic of all the slasher horror movies probably made in cinema history. And as far as I'm concerned, it was the one movie that terrified me as a kid. Now, with that being said, you guys do not have to see the original movie to understand what's going on in the sequel. However, with that being said, it will drastically change your perception of this movie, and that's one thing I'm going to kind of go into here. Chris, what's your initial first thoughts before watching this?
Well, you know me, before watching it, man, every time we would get on the game, you would always bring up Candyman out of nowhere for no reason. I'd be talking about Disney, and you'd be like, you know what really reminds me of Disney? Candyman. And then for no reason, and it's not only that, you would always bring up that one scene with a little kid getting murdered, and it'll always mess me up, man. I'm like, I don't want to think about that, right? But to go piggyback on co-sign what you were just saying a minute ago, man, you're right. I thought about that in the middle of the movie. I was like, you know what? You don't have to watch the original to watch this movie. And then I would say it will enhance you if you do watch the first one, original one first. But I'll tell you what, if you watch this one first and then go back, I think that might be a better experience.
Okay, so pretty much on the same grounds what Chris just said. I think there's going to be two very distinct audiences for this. Obviously, the diehard fans have been following the series for almost 30 years now. Now, I'm just going to be honest, just straight up with you. I'm not going to bullshit you guys. If you see the first movie, especially if you saw it a long time ago and it's one of your favorite movies, you just cold point blank, you will be disappointed with this movie. And I think that there's a couple things. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the movie's trash, but if you have not seen the first movie, I think you will really like this movie.
Right.
If you have seen the first movie, you are not going to be able to sit through this movie without thinking about just a few things they could have changed.
I agree with what you're saying. And that's why I said what I said about, I think it would service people who haven't been scarred by the first movie, who might see this one first, because it doesn't say, and that might be what they were going for, because it's not like they're saying this is Candyman 2. This is like technically Candyman 4, but we're erasing
concept of a Candyman.
We're going back to a direct sequel to the original. We're pretty much forgetting about the other Candyman movies besides the original one. But if you watch the first this Candyman first, and then you go back and it almost
watched Daniel Robitaille's story.
Exactly, because like we were talking about earlier, you said they do a good job of recapping kind of what happened in the original, but without spoiling anything, I'll tell you, it's kind of like that game of telephone. You know how when you get into somebody's ear, you whisper a thing, and then they whisper to the next person's ear, and then the next person. By the time it gets to the last person,
distorted.
It's all distorted. It's a whole different thing, and that's pretty much what happens with folklores, with legends, with police stories, and even records that were probably in the news, but after a generation. The urban legends start kicking in, and then people start changing the story up. So even when they were recapping what happened in the first one, it was totally it made sense though why it changed.
There's a scene in the first one, guys, where something happens with the lady and the villain, and if you've seen the first one, you've seen it from a different perspective, and so when they're talking about it in past tense, they give you a completely different opinion about what people actually saw, and you're like, wait a minute.
Exactly. But you know what? This is what I liked about this movie. It would be from the perspective of the people around all the people, and they're living in the neighborhood that were around the people in the original.
We didn't get that the first one. It was just one neighbor and then an outsider, and that was kind of the point.
Exactly. I mean, from as the audience of as the original movie,
we were outsiders in the first one.
Yeah, we were the fourth wall. We knew what was going on. But if you would take it from the point of view of the people within that city, in that neighborhood, they did a good job in this sequel. talking about that urban legend from the way in the way that it would kind of, because there's nobody in the world that would get the story 100% right, because it didn't really 100% happen to everybody in the neighborhood. They got a neighbor had it happen to them, a cousin of an auntie of a this and a that, and it's
folklore.
Exactly. Or it's legend, and I think they did a good job with capturing that. Let's go into what you want to talk about, like not to spoil it, but Sean, if you want to talk about like the reasons why this would be a less, like it was. I didn't go in thinking that this was going to be better than the first one.
No, I didn't.
Even with the first one,
gotta be honest.
because I felt like the first one was NC-17, or should it have been?
The first one had to fight to get an R rating. Yeah.
Okay. So
but it was still very. I'm not gonna lie. The first one is a lot more brutal than this one by far.
It was definitely like an NC-17 type brutality kind of a movie,
ripping, tearing.
I knew that this movie would be a rated R, bordering a PG-13. If anything, it was gonna go down. It wouldn't. Yes. It wasn't gonna start from an NC-17 and have to fight its way down like the original one. I knew that this was going to be like, probably written like a hard R.
Unless you see the,
But if you take away a certain scenes, it could have easily have been PG-13. If you know what I mean.
I agree, because I don't want to say, because I don't want to get specifics, but yes, he's right. He could take just a couple little things out of there, and all of a sudden the movie's PG-13.
Right. Like when that giant kaiju stripper went. No, I'm just joking. I thought, okay. So that's overall, I thought it was a decent movie. Now, when we first were talking about going to see this movie tonight, the first thing I said, and this was really Sean's doing. Sean did more to market this movie than anything that MGM did. Now, when the movie first, when Sean and I we were playing our video games and stuff, and every time the subject of Candyman would come up, or I could be talking about Care Bears, and for some reason he takes it to Candyman. I don't know how the hell he does it, but. He hyped me up. I'm thinking, dude, I'm a 41-year-old grown ass man, and I told Sean, this is exactly what I said. I turned on all of my lights before I left the house to go see this movie, because I wanted those sons of bitches to
don't want to
on.
go in front of the mirrors and turn lights on.
I wasn't. Every bathroom stayed dark, but every hallway was lit.
You're like, I'm not even going to the bathroom. I'm peeing in a jug.
Exactly. But I'm not gonna lie. When I got in my car, drove home and stuff, I'm honestly not affected. I'm not thinking about this movie. I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight.
Yeah, and one could roll that off as, you were a kid. No, I was not just a kid when I was a kid when I first saw it, and that is the most impacting thing. But I can honestly say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the first film is a quote unquote scarier type of movie. This is almost like a thriller suspense movie where kind of about halfway through the movie, you're not really, they're making a point to show you that they're not going to show you things. Yeah. And there was one scene in the first Candyman movie, which was one of the worst kills. And honestly, and to give it credit, they did not actually show you killing her. You heard the sounds of her clothes tearing, and you heard him grunting, ripping through tissue and shit. But then it just showed the body afterwards. Right. And it was horrific.
Yeah, and that did more. The sound did more.
The screaming and ripping.
Than anything else. Here they leaned on a little too much comedy for what should have been major kill. Not in all of them. On one of the first major kill scenes, it started off too funny for me to really get into how brutal, because it did get very brutal. I felt, I'm gonna be honest with you, I felt like they threw almost everything that I would have rather have only seen in the theater in the trailer. Because at one part, this was in the trailer, like the girls conjuring up Candyman in the bathroom. I would have preferred not to have seen that in the trailer, because at one point of the movie, when it was getting towards the end, I was thinking to myself, where's that bathroom scene? I thought they cut it out. I thought they cut it out of the movie. I went to the bathroom at a slow point of the movie, came back, and then I was like, oh, okay, we're about to see it. But I remember thinking to myself before that.
I thought it would have been the first ones,
Exactly. That should have been the more of the setups.
I was just gonna say, the two biggest problems I had was, I feel like I was lied to, and there was a substitute that I was really upset with the entire movie, and I don't understand why they did that. And secondly, the kills were pretty, what's the word, tame.
Yeah, like I said,
compared to the first one.
It felt like an R. It felt like a PG-13 movie.
Candyman.
That was. It felt like a rated R movie that was struggling not to accidentally
and
slip
then they
back
cut
into
it.
a PG-13.
And they cut it.
Yeah. But you could tell if you watch if you go back to the original Candyman, that was an NC-17 movie trying to squeeze itself into an R-rated movie. They were
it's true.
desperately trying to make it R-rated so they can make a little bit more extra money on it. But it felt like they were more focused on if we can make the kills horrific and make it scary. And you know what? And Jordan Peele and them and the writers and with the screenplay, they did a good job capturing the neighborhood, the ambiance of the neighborhood. I didn't have any problem with the neighborhood and stuff. But then
okay, check this out real quick. The camera work was very good in the movie.
Yeah, the cinematography was pitch perfect. I felt at some parts when we were in the present time, because it did go back in time a little bit. To
the
kind of
70s.
Explain, the whole movie felt like I was watching it in the 90s again. It felt, for some reason, the coloring of this movie felt like the original Candyman movie. It felt like it was in the 90s.
Most of the shots were interior, and you didn't see vehicles. And
it felt like it. If you would have told me that this movie was filmed like 5 years after the original, I would have believed it, because the way it was shot was so close to the visually. It was perfectly woven into that universe. It's just that it was a tamer.
That's the thing. And I don't feel like that they represented completely, guys, the truth in who is the villain, or because they say this person's in the movie or this lady or this guy, and that's only partially true.
Yeah. It's like if you know anything about the
when you saw Star Wars, when you saw Luke at the end, and you're like, you see him for like a second.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, it's like my original concept for this movie was tainted because I thought, oh, they're gonna fuck this up. I know it, but then I heard reports say, no, in fact, so and so and so and so, yeah, it's all together, great. And then I watch it, and then I feel like I was lied to.
Now, going into the storyline of enhancing the storyline about the bees, that was interesting. I got it. Because they treated the original Candyman like the queen bee. If he
was.
Sense.
They said Daniel was the original.
He's the original, and they kept that in there, and they focused on that. But you're right.
The Samuel guy threw me off.
The whole thing about, if you think about it like in a beehive kind of a way. You rarely ever see the queen, or you never see the queen. You mostly only see the worker bees.
Right.
So if they were trying to go for that route, they did a great job and succeeded in it. I mean, just like in the original movie.
But that's the argument.
There was no white savior. Like there wasn't a white savior. Like the original one didn't have a white savior. There was nothing but victims.
All she did was cause shit for everybody.
Yeah. So they kept that going. So there was no.
And it was an idiot white person that caused the shit in this one.
I mean, everybody. There were black kids and stuff that were stupid enough to be dumb and to do that crazy stuff. So everybody was being stupid.
But see, here's one thing. I wonder what your opinion on this. Why in God? Why? If you as a kid saw this with your very own eyes, people getting just ripped into pieces in an empty room that there's only one door out of, and you see the guy in there, and then you're gonna go try to get this guy?
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'd be like, hey, I didn't see nothing. We're good.
I did like the fact that a lot of times in the movie, people realistically were like, nope, don't, we're not gonna do that.
I will say this. I love the fact that we do have a very clear connection to the first one, meaning,
that was in the trailer, so we know.
Yeah, so we have Anthony, who is the baby from the first one, and the mother. And the mother, I don't know, dude, she looks exactly the same to me as she did in '92, and she's a really good actress, and she had some of the best dialogue in the whole movie. And as soon as he starts saying his name, she's like, shh,
Yeah, that was in the trailer. Yeah, exactly. We're not doing that. Yeah, exactly. Don't. That was one of the most realistic, like that. But it
She
also
just shut his
happened again.
no.
And we had what's her name? She Monica Rambeau from WandaVision. Teyana Parris, who played Brianna in this movie. She had a moment like that too, where you know the joke about how we don't make those same mistakes. Like we don't go upstairs.
Well, dude, even Anthony was like, he sees him in the mirror and he's like, all right, I gotta leave.
Yeah, exactly. Like she looks down into a dark hallway and she's like, nope. Like this movie was like made like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or in the 90s. That would have instead of a gay brother, it would have probably been a sister. I think she would have had a little sister.
Probably.
I think so.
Probably.
Or either that or a brother that was in a heterosexual relationship.
Or they would have just made Anthony and him together.
What do you mean?
I actually thought I was guessing. I mean, because they never answer clearly in the trailer. I was thinking that he's an artist. It's probably his boy. But no.
You thought he was dating Troy?
I thought they were a couple. Yeah, before from the trailer, that's what he's an artist.
You know what? I don't know why. I think I would have found that more interesting because Troy would have been
the voice of reason and the art place. Don't do that shit.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that
exactly.
Shit.
Like he was like at first he played around with it, but I mean he made his joke in the very beginning, but then after that he didn't play around with that stuff anymore. He was the most serious. He was the most like don't play, don't mess around with that legend crap. And that entertained me a little bit more. I thought that I'll be honest with you, I would have probably preferred it if Anthony and Troy would have been the couple instead of Brianna. But no, I do like Teyana Parris because I can't wait to see her in the next Captain Marvel movie. But, have you seen WandaVision yet?
No.
Okay.
Disney Plus.
So you haven't seen her in okay. So yeah, she's in WandaVision. But I overall, they did a lot of things right. They were going up a huge hill because anybody who saw the first one was going to compare like the kill scenes and stuff like that. Like there was going to be a lot. Sean was going to be grading this with a fine tooth comb.
I mean, I'm being just completely honest with like part of me, because I championed this so much, was like, oh, it's so great. But I'm being honest with you. I walked out of there really disappointed for a couple reasons. Yeah, I mean, I'm
gonna be honest with you, not to deter anybody. I think this is one of the. I think this is going to be one of the best horrors. This year. I mean, I guess Michael Myers Halloween will challenge that.
Halloween Kills, yeah.
But
I think the movie was good. If you have never seen Candyman, you're going to really like this movie. Point blank. I think you will like this movie.
I think if you start with what you were saying earlier, if you Star Wars this one, if you watch this one first, then go back to see where all the stories don't line up. Like why did they get the details wrong and stuff? What causes a Candyman to be made and the anger and the hate that was around him. I think Jordan Peele it was in your face. If you know the history of it, the development of like police, like what's going on in the world today with Trayvon Martin and George George. I'm sorry, George.
Oh,
Floyd.
the timing cannot be just a coincidence.
Yeah,
the timing is pretty good.
Exactly, it was 100% inspired by it. Well, what's going on with the police and things like that in black communities and things like that? And if you know the history of how police departments were first invented and what they were really invented for, it's all tied together with what was going on in the 19th century when the first Candyman was first, tortured and killed. It's all connected. If you know anything, for the listeners, and I want people, if you've made it this far into this podcast, if you know what I'm talking about, or if you want to look it up, look up what police departments were first originally intended for, and then you will make the connection when you see what happens at the end of this movie that recently came out. When you get to the end of it, you'll know why Sean said the word like quarantine and what they were trying to. You'll get it if you look at the history of all that stuff. But I'm not going to get away. I'm going to make you guys do your research on that.
I will say, without giving details, I did like the final kills I think they should have been more nasty. But I did like the fact that instead of it just there's a scene, guys, where because usually in the Candyman movies there's only one, maybe two people there, and almost every scenario they both die or he kills the other person in front of the other, and basically implies he's going to kill the other person later. But this one, we get a scene without details, but many people see this, and I thought that was kind of neat because I was like, okay, there's kind of.
I thought it was neat too because he did it more than he did it more than once. Like the girls in the bathroom when you know all
that's
of them.
True. That's true. Twice. He
did it. He was more willing to like. If you're in a crowd of being in a crowd will not
don't
protect
save you.
Because usually
you're just gonna kill the whole crowd.
Usually there's strength in numbers. I like the fact that they've now told us there is no strength in numbers.
There's no getting around it,
and it makes sense why there wouldn't be strength in numbers because I think like Freddy Krueger, like if the less people that know Freddy, the less power he has. You have to say his name. You have to let the legend grow again for him to gain more power. So I think he is trying to be as brutal as possible to get to maybe that's why the kills felt so tamed compared to the first one. Maybe because he wasn't as powerful as he was in the original. That could be an excuse that they could use, and maybe the next one, if they do another one, would be the most bloodiest thing you ever saw.
Yeah, because it's like this one, he was using killing in several of the instances as a tool. Just kill him real quick, and then it's done. But the other ones, it was almost torturous. Like the way he would kill them was like the most painful possible.
I 100% believe that he was more powerful in the original one
because he was original, the queen.
Because it's been so many years, and they were trying to
kill it.
They were trying to kill. Yeah, exactly. I think he was struggling. That might be the answer. He was struggling, trying to claw his way back into the minds of everybody in the neighborhood, and quarantining the area off for like the kind of and gentrification and stuff like that, and trying to burn it all down and rebuild it. I think in a way will kind of kill the strength in that. And if that's what Jordan Peele was going for, he did a good job because this was watered down compared to the first one. If that's not what he was going for, he better make that his excuse moving forward.
I'd be curious if they have a different version of this or an uncut version where they're like, okay, we know this is not going to make it into it.
Oh man, you know if he does have a unrated version of it, you're gonna watch it.
Oh, I am for sure.
You're gonna want to see. You're gonna see what you're gonna want to see. So that's I say see if you haven't seen the original one, go see this one and then go see the original. Yes. If you have seen, I agree with Sean. If you have seen the first one, you're probably going to be disappointed.
Yes, I mean I'm not saying don't go see it because I think everybody should see this just because I think it was a well-made movie, but I think it's not fair to Nia DaCosta and Jordan for you guys to just go in there, and I did it too, to be like, it's got to be better or at least as good as the first one because that's just.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's fair to any movie. I don't think any sequel has to be better. It's good when it happens.
It's so rare,
but to set themselves up for failure.
Yeah, like The Dark Knight, The Empire Strikes Back, Aliens,
Terminator,
and Terminator 2.
Yeah, that's so those. I mean, it's very rare, but it's if you go. I'm not gonna lie. When I mean the movie right now, as we're speaking right now, it's at 85% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's out of 212 reviews. This is a certified fresh movie.
Yeah, I don't want people to think that we're saying that the movie is garbage. No, it is not a garbage movie.
But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be honest with you. I walked out the movie thinking, I don't think Sean's gonna like it as much as he thought he would. And then when I walked out the door, this other woman that was in the theater went straight up, "This movie sucked." I'm like, no, it did not. It wasn't.
It didn't suck.
It didn't suck. It's just like I should have asked her. I'm curious now if that woman ever saw the original Candyman.
See, that's the thing. That's going to be the thing. I wonder how many of these positive reviews have actually seen or maybe seen recently.
I'm sure the critic reviews they should, if they want to do their jobs properly, they better have seen the first one. I saw a review that where a person who didn't see the original one made sure to go see the original before watching this one. So I'm sure enough of them did, but I'm pretty sure a lot of young people probably have not seen the original one.
No.
And if you haven't, my suggestion: go see this, then go back, and then
Yeah.
it'll blow your mind. It might even enhance the second one because you're like, wow, that what almost happened to him in the beginning would have been crazy if. But you'll see what I'm talking about. I think it's. I think I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to expand the franchise, and they're trying to see if they can make this something into a thing.
I hope it makes money because I think that as a director, she's good. I think she's got an eye for really clever camera shots.
The first 30, 45 minutes of this movie, if it would have stayed on that same kind of path, because at one point I can't pinpoint where it kind of trailed off, but it felt like it started off so pitch perfect. And then there was a part where it kind of wavered, but I don't know if you can think about it and pinpoint it. You can.
For me, it was spoilers after we've established.
Don't spoil it. But
okay, all right. So after we get the second actual reveal of a good clear image, I started to be like, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So I'll say that for the end. I say the same thing that you said earlier. Yeah, don't write it off. It's worth it. It's worth a look. And I'm curious for you guys to tell us what you thought about it. Let me know if you've seen the original one, or if you saw this one first and then went back to see the original one, or if you're not going to see the original one after seeing this one, or whatever. Either way, whatever the scenario is, I'll be curious. So comment below. Let us know what you think. If you made it this far, man, thanks for listening. Hit that like button because it's going to help us out, and subscribe if you haven't become a subscriber yet. Man, me, you know me. I'm Chris. Talking through the medias, talking through the movies, or whatever you want to call it. Sean, you want to sign us off the way you used to do? keep watching the movies, playing the games, and killing the noobs. That's what the old line was, right?
Something like that.
Hit the like button for Sean, so he'll remember his damn lines. All right, guys. Until next time, peace.
Our supporters help make all this content possible, so make sure you check out our Patreon page so you can help us bring you the content you want.
Push the pedal to the freaking metal. I'm turned up just like heavy metal. Yo. Turned up on another level. Push the pedal to the freaking metal. I'm turned up just like heavy metal. Blah.